Right, guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do Amazon FBA product research in 2024. This is not going to be your usual YouTube nonsense. This is going to show you exactly what you need to do step by step. So first of all, I'm going to show you why you should trust what I'm saying, right? Because we are still actively launching products right now. So we've literally got a product going live this week. We've got another 2 lined up in the next sort of 3 weeks. We've launched 3 successful products in probably the last 2 months. We're starting to launch subscription-based products now. And combined across our 2 brands, we do over $3 million a year. Half of that is in the UK, and the other half of it is in the US. So I'm going to show you inside our Seller Central on one of our accounts, right? So if I filter and go back to, let's go custom, let's go all the way back to January 2023. You'll see how much revenue we've done in that time on this account, which is our US account. So you can see we've done about $2.2 million. So we're legit sellers, and I'm going to show you today some really cool stuff with product research. I'm going to show you 2 main things, right? The first one is using Helium 10. If you don't have Helium 10, it's probably the best tool for doing Amazon product research. It does a bunch of other things as well, right? So you get all of these crazy tools with it. I'm obviously not going to go into all of these right now because it would take me a long time. But if you've not got Helium 10, check out the link in the description of the video because we've got a juicy discount for it. Also, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about getting started with Amazon FBA and you would like to have some assistance, check out the video description because we're opening up a new program, right? That's going to help people launch products on Amazon in record time. It's like a fast track program. So there's a link to that in the video description if you do fancy learning a little bit more than the free content I'm going to be putting out today. All right, so let's get into it, right? I like Helium 10. And I like it because one of the cool things that you can do is you can use the blackbox tool and you can search for products via keywords instead of just looking for products, basically. So this is really interesting for me because what ends up happening is instead of just finding example products, you find niches. Now, what I would like you to take away from this video is to try and change your mindset away from thinking that you're finding products and moving away to you are creating products. Now I'm going to explain a little bit what I mean. But first of all, let's start with Helium 10, and then I'm going to go on to some alternative ways in which you can do product research that I think is super, super interesting. So if you've got Helium 10, come down to the tools tab here, go to Blackbox, and then go to keywords, right? And you get a bunch of filters here. Now, I've already filled these in because I didn't want to waste too much time on this part. There's not any set filter, right? That is going to throw up this miraculous result. This is going to take you time and it's going to take practice. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. But I'm going to go over some of the main filter types here so that it makes sense for you. So the first one is search volume. Now, this is how many people on a monthly basis are searching for this specific keyword. So what I've done is I've put a minimum of 5,000 and a maximum of 90,000. I actually want to go a bit bigger than that because we can look at some bigger niches. So obviously, the more people that are searching for your products or the specific keyword, the bigger the demand and the more money that you're going to need to go into that niche. So it's all well and good looking at products that are doing £1 million or $1 million a month. But if you don't have enough money to keep up with the level of sales that those guys are doing, then you're going to struggle. So bear this in mind. If you've only got $5,000, you probably want to search for niches that are way, way smaller than if you've got $40,000. And within Honest FBA, our community, we have people that start with $5,000. We have some people that start with $50,000, and they look at very different products because of that. And that's how we teach them to do it. So price, you can put anything in here, honestly. What you need to be wary of is that if you start getting under the $20 mark, you are probably going to struggle with your Amazon advertising because advertising is getting more expensive. And when advertising gets more expensive, it eats into your profits. So it's much easier if you've got a higher priced product where the advertising cost is a smaller percentage of that overall revenue. So if that doesn't make sense, I'll show you some examples in a bit. But there's no magic price. You know, if you find a product and it's a $200 product, maybe you only need to sell 2 or 3 of those per day to do some nice revenue. So I wouldn't exclude products that are expensive. Normally what gurus will say is they'll say between $25 and $45. And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So you don't have to put a maximum in, or you can. I'm not here to tell you there's one way to do Amazon FBA product research. This is the way that we do it. the way that we've had success with it, and the way that a lot of our students are killing it with as well. So review count, a lot of gurus will tell you to put in here 300 max reviews. It's also nonsense. You do not want to find, in fact, it's not just nonsense, it's going to cost you money. And there's a video that I did recently on big mistakes that people make listening to certain gurus. And one of them is this, where they say put 300 views because you want to find low competition niches. This worked 5 years ago. It no longer works because there's so many people looking for these new niches that if you launch into one of them, by the time you get your product live and everything else, the niche is going to be flooded with new sellers and you're not going to make any money. So I actually advise against people launching into niches that have got low review counts. The next one is review rating. This is how good the average products in the niche are in terms of the reviews that they've been given. So it's not the number of reviews, it's the quality. So if you put 4.2 here as a max, it won't show you keywords where the average review count is more than 4.2. Because one of the things, if everybody's got an average review score of 4.8, the customer's going to look at that and be like, well, all these products are great, right? So you want to find things where people are complaining about stuff so that you can improve it and you can stand out by making the product better. So you can put a maximum there. Maybe you want to look at a max 4, and then that's going to show you a lot of niches where the quality of the products isn't that great. And that potentially is going to give you some good opportunities. The next one is word count, right? I always put this as 2. The reason being is I don't want to see things like iPhone. So if it's only one word, most of the time it's a brand name. So I put it at that. Categories, you can honestly pick whatever you want in here. You're going to spend time looking at all of these different categories. I personally like subscription-based products, and I'm going to show you some examples of those in a minute, but you can just go through this. I mean, obviously things like cell phones and accessories, CDs and vinyl, probably not that great. Books, not that great if you're trying to create your own brand. But there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of niches. So don't limit it to just one niche. Just pick a few, sports and outdoors, whatever it is you want to do. The point of what you're doing is you're getting the reps in and you're practicing how to do this research, right? Shipping size, I do like to keep it to small and large standard. At the moment, shipping prices are creeping up. I prefer to try and find things that are a little bit smaller. If it's bigger and it's bulkier, it's generally more expensive with the shipping and everything, and that can just make things a little bit difficult. So I don't like to make things difficult for myself, but it doesn't mean that you can't sell bigger items either. So I would encourage you to also look at this. But for me personally, I prefer these 2 size tiers. Where did we go? Right, let's have a look. What else have we got? There's nothing else that I would be filling in here. Variation count. I put it at maximum 4, right? Because what you don't want to find is products like t-shirts, stuff like that have got 50 variation counts, right? Because it's going to be very expensive to launch products that you need a million sizes and colors and all that good stuff, right? So I like to keep that at 4, maybe even cap that out at 3. So let's have a look. We've got review count. Okay, boom. Everything looks good. That's 16,000. I meant 160,000. Let's hit search. So what you do then is you hit search, and it's going to pull up. A ton of stuff, right? Now, what I do is I just go through here and I just kind of look and I see what stands out, right? So I'm not looking for anything specific. I'm just something that piques my interest, and then I want to click on it, and then I want to look at it on Amazon, right? So the first thing that I'm seeing is beard growth, dopamine supplements. Like, supplements are very, very hot right now, right? And one of the things that I would encourage people to do is, if you're based in the UK, or even if you're based in the US, look at what's taking off in the US market and then look at the UK market, because there's a lot of niches like these that perhaps are really big in the US market and not so big in the UK market. And you can sell in the UK market if you're a US citizen. You can make a UK limited company or an LLC. And obviously, if you're from the UK, you can also sell in there as well, right? So I'm just going to go through, right? What we're going to end up seeing is a lot of stuff like this mushroom gummies. Now, this is something that's gone absolutely nuts lately, right? So if you look at this, it's something that's really taken off. Beautiful trend upwards there. So you can imagine if you got in around here, right, when it was just starting to take off, you could have done very, very well. Let's have a look. So a lot of these niches are very, very competitive now because they're becoming very, very hot. There's a lot of people looking at them. There's a lot of people entering the niche. What happens when you get this in a niche, when you get this thing that's getting more and more popular, everybody rushes to sell it, and then the advertising cost goes up, and it becomes very difficult. But I just encourage everybody to look at what's happening in these niches, because really all product research is finding demand and then meeting that demand with something that's different, that's quality, and that stands out, right? And as long as you've got enough money to do that, then you can launch almost any product as long as you've got enough creative knowledge and enough understanding and skills of how Amazon FBA works, which I'm going to be talking about in this video. And we've got tons of videos on the channel that explain it all. So if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Right, so I'm going to look at this again. Mushroom gummies. So this is a super competitive niche. Now, I wouldn't be looking to go into it. The reason is you get a lot of this where people are just dropping the price, and it's going to be very, very difficult. Tons of new listings. One thing that you can do with Helium 10 is you can hit this X-ray button up here, right? And it's going to show you all of these products. Now, what I like to do is I like to hit filter results and then hide sponsored results. And then all we're going to see is all of these products that are not being advertised. So you can see these top sellers are doing $200,000. You're going to need a lot of money to compete with products like this because they're doing 9,000 sales a month, right? So if you can imagine, maybe that costs them $3. If they're doing $9,000 a month, that's $27,000 worth of stock that you need to compete with them if you want to match their sales. Obviously, you've got people a little bit lower down, so you're probably not going to do this amount of sales on a monthly basis. But what you need to do is you need to see on average, what's the average amount of sales that people are doing? And am I going to be able to compete with that number? Because if you've only got $6,000 to spend on inventory, you're not even going to be able to get enough inventory to sort of compete with these guys down here, right? And look how cheap they are. But one cool thing that I like about Helium 10 is you can go on this creation date and you can see how many people have launched onto this front page in the past sort of 12 months. So you can actually see here, right? We've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's probably about 17, 18 new listings in this niche. Now, this is something that I like to look at because ideally, I don't want to see too many new listings. I don't want that I launch a product and a week later, I've got another 10 people that are all launching the same product. Not that it's going to be exactly the same as everybody else, but what happens is when more and more people are launching into the niche, the advertising cost goes up, people drop their prices to compete, and it can become very competitive. So that's something that I really like to look at. So I'm going to be looking at a few different keywords. Sex pill that works instantly for men. Let's have a look at this. This is an interesting one. Now, so this is look how crazy this is as a keyword, right? Let's have a look at it, and I'm going to show you a brand called Tabs Chocolate. Now, Tabs Chocolate is, I think it was doing almost $1 million a month at one point. Now, this is basically like an aphrodisiac chocolate product, right? So you can see here, Tabs Chocolate, 30,000 people searching for it every single month. And basically, it's a chocolate that contains a few different ingredients where those ingredients basically you take it and it makes you horny, or that's what they claim. They only have 2.8 stars, but as you can see, I think they're only doing 40,000 a month now. So this has really dropped off. So at one point, these guys were doing crazy amounts. They were doing like 500 units a day at the peak. Look, 300. It's really dropped off lately. They're only doing 10. That's really dropped off. And probably because of the reviews, this has dropped off. But these are the sorts of weird niches that, most people won't look at. But as long as you can sell this sort of stuff legally, then maybe you can create a brand around this, right? This is where you've got to get creative. So what is the demand here? The demand is that people want these kind of pills. They want them to work instantly. Is there a way that you can combine some herbs together? Is there, that's all they did with Tabs Chocolate is they made this product that combines all of these ingredients that give you a bit of an aphrodisiac boost or whatever. They marketed it up. They used short form content, and they absolutely killed it. Let's have a look at something a little bit more traditional. Dog travel bag. Is this sort of thing? Now, one of the things when I look at niches like this, right, is everything looks exactly the same. And in my opinion, that is a good thing because you want to be able to stand out. So you want that if you bring something different into this niche, that you're going to be able to stand out. Now, these sorts of niches, I think the way that you win if you want to launch one of these products is by having a great price. The quality of your product needs to be at the right level where you can compete as well as you can on price, because these sorts of niches are generally dominated by Chinese sellers. So Chinese seller, Chinese seller, Chinese seller. The Chinese, what they do is they just launch cheap and cheerful products that do the job, and they do the job at a really good price. Now, in almost every single niche that you see on Amazon, the top sellers will probably be the cheapest. If you look at the top 4 or the top 5 sellers, if we look in here, right, what you're going to see is that they are generally the cheapest. 33.99, 43, 34, 34. So look, these guys are doing really well. This looks like it could be an original, an established brand. This over here, somebody was giving me some grief over this. My Prime benefits are on hold. Somebody was telling me, how can I teach people how to sell on Amazon if I don't even pay for my Prime account? So newsflash is I don't live in Goleta. My name's not Eric. I use this Amazon account to show people how to do product research and stuff. I don't actually use it. We've bought a couple of products here. We had Prime and then we closed it and we don't pay for it anymore. But just in case that person wants to say anything again. So one of the downsides that I'm seeing here straight away is you've got a lot of different size variations, right? Colors, sizes, all of that sort of stuff. So that would kind of put me off. This is not a niche that I would be looking to go into because you've got to be, you might be able to launch one of these for about $40. And if you made a great listing, if you did some really, really nice visual branding, but you're competing against some pretty good listings, right? Like, look at this. This is only doing 18,000 a month. It's $30. It's got 1,900 almost reviews, and it's got a 4.9 stars. So overall, it's getting incredible feedback. So what this means is, as a customer, if you launch one of these and it looks pretty much the same, but you have to launch it for $40 because you're not getting a very good price compared to what these guys are getting, the customer is just going to buy this one because it's good, it's got great reviews. And that's one thing that you need to be wary of when you're doing your product research, right? You need to be thinking, how can I really stand out to the customer and do something a little bit different? Then you've also got Amazon in here. They're selling a basics range, which is not always great. They're difficult to compete against. The average price is about $32, right? So you really need to be conscious when you're doing your research of what the average price is. All you really need to make a product successful, you need to be able to sell it for close to the average price in the niche. If you're too high above the average price, you're going to struggle. So if you try and sell one of these for $50 and everyone else is around this mark, you're probably going to struggle, right? Some people are making it work. Amazon are making it work here. This one is $42.99. It's doing quite well. So there is a little bit of movement in here. There's a little bit of elasticity with the price. So maybe you could get away with selling, for $42.99, something like that. But you really need to be conscious when you're doing your research of basically the price that you need to sell at to be able to compete. And some people just think that, well, I'm just going to launch a premium version of this. And it's not the way that it works. Because if you launch a premium version and you've got to sell it for $55, I guarantee you will not see success. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to Alibaba and dog travel bag, right? And I'm going to have a quick look at roughly how much these things cost, right? Because this is the process. You find the products using a tool like Helium 10. You go through and you have a look and you think, okay, everything looks great, looks a little bit boring. How can I really stand out? So I would be thinking, how could I stand out aesthetically? And then I would be thinking, okay, I'm going to read the reviews and I'm going to see what people complain about. Honestly, it seems like people are pretty damn happy. So I would never ever go into this niche because of how good the reviews are that you're competing against. But for the sake of an example, I'm going to show you. So look, you can see here, right, that it looks like $8 to $10. We've got a little bit of variation in pricing. That's something different. Let's have a look. 5 to 8. So you could $10.99. I think to sell one of these, you're probably gonna have to pay maybe $8 to $10 for a product like this, with all of this stuff included in bulk, right? But then you've got your shipping, you've got your duties, you've got all of that type of stuff. So the best way to quickly work out what your rough profit margin might be is to go on one of the top sellers' site. Let's have a look at this guy. Let's see if we can find something similar on Alibaba. just so we can kind of understand what the rough price might be. I mean, it's quite a good thing that you can't see these exact styles. I think this is kind of a new type of product because most of these are quite new. So that tells me that this could be quite a new niche. Dog travel bag. Where does it say? 12,000 searches. It wouldn't surprise me if this was, oh, okay, so it's not too new then, 2019. But sometimes what happens is somebody will bring out a new design and then that design will be absolutely everywhere. So it looks like we would probably have to sell one of these. I think for maximum 43, 34. I think maximum, if we were going to go with this style, maximum probably 35 to $40, right? So really, if we think that we need to sell this for about $40 maximum, we really need to be landing it into Amazon's warehouse, duties, taxes, costs for maximum $10. You really need to, if you land it for 10, you really need to sell it for at least 40. So usually 4x what you land it for. It's a good rule of thumb. That's a really good takeaway from this video if you don't take anything else away. So really, if we wanted to compete with these guys and we wanted to sell one for around this price, we'd probably have to buy this, ship it, pack it, everything for about $8. Now, a good way to have a quick look is you go on the profitability calculator down here with Helium 10. And what this is going to do, this is going to pull everything in, right? So as you saw on Alibaba, right, this is about 8 to 10. So you're honestly probably going to pay about $9 for something like this, I would imagine, right? So $9 in here, and then with the freight cost being about $400 per cubic meter, which you have to check what that number is. It might be more, it might be less. But you can see if we were getting this for $9 and then with $3 shipping, that's $12. If we only sell it for $33.99, we're only going to make a 27% margin. But that might sound good, but this is before your Amazon PPC, your advertising, and your returns. So in reality, this is going to be even lower. This is probably going to be maybe half of that, 14 to 15%. Your ROI is going to drop to like 30%, and you're not going to make much money. Now, if all you wanted to do was have one product, right, and maybe you wanted to do $10,000 a month, something like that, you could probably pull this off. You could probably do okay. You wouldn't make much money, but I could launch this product and probably do $15,000, $20,000 a month in sales, right, and do okay. Probably I wouldn't make a super strong margin, but I could probably do that with the design and everything that we would have made. But look how much this changes, right? If we land it for 9, let's say we land it 9. So if we land it for 12, let's say we get the product for 8 and it's $3. So that's 11 in total, right? As soon as we sell this for $37.99, this all of a sudden looks a lot better. It's 120 now. So 35.9. If we sell it for 40, then it's looking even better, right? This is about where we would want it to be. We'd about want it to be. So this is a good example of how the price that you sell the product at, it really impacts your profit margin. But the price that you sell the product at, you need to base that price on the price that everyone else is selling it at. Because if all of these guys are selling it for $33.99, you're going to struggle to compete unless you've got something that's just incredible. All right, so that was a lot to take in. So I'm going to go back and do some more. Let me know in the comments below, right, if there's any specific questions you want to ask me around product research, if you want to, anything at all. Now, just to go back, the kind of products that we're launching now is we're launching this. So subscribe and save, right? So we're launching subscription-based products. So if you click on this, you can see that every single day now, we're getting people subscribing to our products. This is the holy grail of e-commerce. Now, if you're watching this and you think that sounds a little bit complicated because you're a beginner, you don't have to. What I would recommend if you're a beginner is launch a product as quickly as you can. Now, as I said, check the video description because we're launching a new fast track program to help people launch products super, super quickly. But you need to be launching products as quickly as you can if you're a beginner. So just learn the ropes. Don't spend a lot of money. Just go and launch a product. But if you've got a bit more experience, I would encourage you to be looking at subscription-based products because subscription-based products, they are products that people buy every single month. Now, this is another interesting one, right? Look at this. This is starting to go crazy over the last couple of years. So you can see since the early 2023, this has just gone nuts, right? So this is einkorn flour organic. So this is organic flour. Let's have a look. So this is a specific brand. Okay, so I mean, look at this, right? So this is organic flour. This is so interesting, right? Like, who'd have thought this many people would buy flour on Amazon? Now, this is a product that in the past I might have overlooked. I would have been like, who the hell would sell flour? And it might be a terrible idea. This is obviously a big brand, but for some reason, this brand has got really popular. But what I want to see is like, if I just type in organic flour, then how many people are searching for that? So organic flour, organic bread. So organic flour. So organic stuff is, as you can see, it's not going crazy. So if you click on this, by the way, you can see the search history for this keyword. So it's not going crazy. It's like steadily increasing. But again, this is the sort of thing that I wouldn't have looked at before. There is one red flag straight off the bat. That £4.69, $4.69 is very, very cheap. But then look, you've got $44, $10. You've got these $116 for this one here, which is crazy. They probably do this. So they do so look at this. Yeah, they do a pack of 4, and they do a pack of 1. So, I mean, look, you wouldn't think about selling flour, right? But if you can find this at the right price and you can add a great brand around it, there's no reason why you can't do this. Look, this is doing $78,000. You would never think of selling this, but you obviously have to run the numbers. You have to do your profitability calculator. You have to understand your profit margins. You have to understand what everyone else is selling at. But we know somebody that sells pasta, and they absolutely kill it because they've got an incredible brand around it. And they do really, really well. Because again, all you're doing is you're looking for demand. You're meeting that demand with something that stands out, a quality product. You're selling it at the right price. As long as you know how to launch products on Amazon, as I said, there's so many products that you can sell. So let's have a look. Rejuvenate floor cleaner. That's another branded one. Prune juice. As I said, in the past, I was very hesitant to look at food items or to look at subscription-based consumable stuff. But I would never launch another brand now if it wasn't consumable. I will die on that hill. So look at this. These are these little single-serve honey type things. Now, obviously, I think this is quite a big brand. But honey is another one that's interesting. I mean, these are these little sachets. You're competing against Kraft, which is not great. But a lot of the time, what you can do is, this is another great thing about Helium 10, right? Is you can just type in the word honey and it'll just throw you up all of these different suggestions, right? So eczema honey, this is honey, I guess, for people that have got eczema. So let's have a look at this, because you've got honey and then you've got this as a sub niche of this, right? So let's have a look. So eczema honey. So this is a product that's specifically for people that have got eczema. Look at this. This is very interesting. So eczema and psoriasis cream. Let's have a look at the revenue. How many people? Because we know that how many people are searching for eczema honey. So this is why I love Helium 10, and I love this keyword part of it, right? Because it throws you up so many ideas that a lot of the time I don't even have to really go back to I don't really have to go back to Helium 10. I can just come on Amazon and I can see this. So this is a great sign for me, by the way. This is a great sign because it's just getting more and more demand year on year. And it's not just going crazy. It's not just going like woof like this. But you're getting more and more demand gradually over year. It's got real steady growth, which I love. So I'm going to hit this and I'm going to see how much demand and how much revenue these guys are doing. Also, if you do want to get Jungle Scout, we don't have a discount code for Jungle Scout actually, but I do like it because it does overlay this data here. And if Helium 10 is being a little bit slow, all right, so look at this. Like this brand here is doing an incredible job. Look, eczema honey, they're everywhere. It's difficult they're just everywhere. Look at this. So this would be difficult to compete against, but I really like this niche on the very surface. Look at this. They're doing 44,000. I wonder if they've got a trademark. It sounds to me like they do have eczema honey. They've trademarked that. That's interesting. So this keyword then, eczema honey, is probably a brand, which surprises me that they're able to trademark that. Eczema honey cream. But this is an example, right, of something that is so unbelievably simple, right? It's probably, let's have a look at what the ingredients are if they've got it in here. So beeswax, seed oil, sodium, it's got a bunch of these, right? You might look at this and think, how the hell would I ever sell this? But there are companies that you can find that will source these ingredients for you, probably in the US, and you can put this together and put it in a pot, right? So let me show you how you would find this, right? So skincare co-packer USA. So a co-packer is a company that will help you source products, put them all together, and then basically manufacture them. So what you'll find is there's tons of these co-packers and private labelers all over the US, all over Europe. All you've got to do is search for them. So you search for them, you approach them, and you say, "Look, I've got an idea for a brand that I'm looking at. I want to launch an eczema honey eye cream or a hand soap." You give them the ingredients, and they'll be able to tell you whether or not they can make it. We've got a product that's similar to this, but it's for pets. It's got about 5, 6 ingredients in it, and we sourced it in the US. It's super profitable for us. So if you look at products like this is not the traditional Chinese Alibaba, drawer organizer thing, but this is the type of stuff that we're looking at now, that we're launching brands with. And look, everything kind of looks the same. So I would be thinking, how can I do a brand that really, really, really stands out? And again, just go to Google, search in the US. You can probably find this stuff locally. Country of origin, US. So they'll be getting all the ingredients. They'll buy the ingredients in bulk. They'll send it to a co-packer who will then put it all together, package it all up, and look at this. This is great. This is a really cool brand. So these are the sorts of brands that I love looking at. I love analyzing and stuff. It looks like they're getting some, bad. It's got almonds in it. Huh. Underwhelmed. So obviously, this type of product, you would have to do a lot of testing to make sure it actually works, because a lot of people are saying it doesn't really work. Huh. So I mean, you can't call yourself an eczema solution, eczema cream, if it doesn't actually work. So you're gonna have to. But you can see how much money they're still making. Like if we actually look at, let's have a look at how much money they're making. Did it even load? Helium 10's been kind of slow. Yeah, but I think I can see so they're making like 100, 140. They're probably a 7-figure brand doing $200,000-$300,000 a month just on Amazon. Let's have a look. Eczema honey. I mean, look. Okay, so this keyword is definitely just a branded keyword. They've got a trademark on it, but you can see they're doing $1 million a month across these products. There's a couple of others mixed in here. But this shows you though that like other brands are able to do this as well. So eczema honey cream. So this is a mixture of Manuka, this, and then like look at that. Huh. This is super interesting. So yeah, I mean, look, this is doing $66,000. The listing is not that great. And again, they probably just get this made in the US market. They might even make this in China. Okay, this is USA as well. But yeah, they're not doing a great job of the branding. Again, look, this is $25, right? So you're probably going to have to get this manufactured for. I would want to land this for $5. So if you can get that made for $5 and you sell it for 25, this is a winner for sure. If I could get this for $5, I could make this work. And what you can do is you can use TikTok, you can use Meta ads to promote this, get people to search on Amazon when they see all of that. We've got some masterclasses coming up and some workshops coming up where we're going to be looking at this type of stuff, TikTok and stuff. So yeah, let's go back. I'm going to look at a couple more. Again, let me know if you've got any comments in the, if you've got any questions, any comments. Bonewood floor cleaner, bronzer, Clarins double semen, semen, serum, Joico conditioner. You get a lot of brand names when you look at stuff like this. You do get a lot of brand names, which obviously you don't just want to be looking at existing brand names. Coconut aminos. What are these? All right, so this has not really had much growth over the past few years. Let's have a look. Coconut amino. What is this? Okay, this is some sort of food product. Okay, I'm not too interested in looking at that one. I'm gonna look at one more and then I'm gonna move on to actually I'm gonna do it now. Look, I'm gonna show you this amazing tool that I've been using. Exploring topics. Some of you might have seen me talk about it before. But there's a couple of things that I found that I think are very, very interesting. So one of them is this trending startups part. So if you click on this, what this shows you is it shows you startups that are trending, basically. So you can pick any of these categories here. You can go on beauty, CPG, eco. So let's have a go on eco. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull up these companies that are like getting like exponential growth. So you got like Ride Panda, what's this? Plant You, electric bikes. Let me look at something else. Let's look at what's going on in sports. So fitness and lifestyle brand, DFNE. What is that? DFYNE. So this is a clothing brand then. But look at this. What is this? Doesn't even look like it's on here though. Let's go on dive shorts. 4,000 people searching for it, and I bet they're not even on Amazon because I can't see them. They're not on Amazon. How funny is that? So this is a company that's obviously is getting a lot of people searching for it, but it doesn't look like. I mean, look at this. It was founded in 2021. It's activewear and accessories for men and women. It's taken off. It's getting a lot of growth. It looks like TikTok and Instagram but they're not on Amazon, which is funny. But this shows you how powerful social media is. Because if you go to TikTok and we search on TikTok, you'll see that this is probably taking off on TikTok, this brand, but they've not actually put the products on. Yeah, look, 280,000 followers. Look at this, 5 million. This is wild. They're just using all of these women as influencers for these products, and then you can see on Amazon there's tons of people searching for this, but they're not actually on Amazon, which is super interesting. So let's go back. Gorilla Mind. Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, 60,000 a month. Let's have a look at this one. So, it's supplements. Looks like it's started taking off. What do they sell? But what I found that was really interesting was, let's have a look at health. You can kind of change all of these filters. So you can look at the last 3 months, the last 6 months, last 10 years. You can look at different categories: growth, peaked, regular. So look, this is when you can click on regular, and you can start to see things that are not going crazy. Because obviously, what you don't want to do is just launch a product or copy another company that's absolutely booming, right? And you're kind of too late to the party. But a really good thing about looking at what other companies are doing is, like, a lot of these companies might be in the US, right, where the market is huge. And there's a lot of good examples of brands that have seen what's working in the US and then they come to the UK market. So it's one thing that I like to do. I like to keep a very close eye on what's happening in the US market, and I like to see is there potentially a way that I could launch something similar in the UK. That's what we're doing soon. So let's have a look at kitchen, fitness, food and beverage. Let's have a look at food and beverage, right? So this is really cool. So you'll be able to see in the past 5 years what has really started to take off. So THC seltzer, this is something that's going nuts. A mushroom creamer. Let's have a look at these. So superfood creamer that combines traditional creamer ingredients with functional mushrooms, known for their energizing and nourishing properties. So creamer is very popular in the US. I don't think it's as important. As sort of popular in the UK, but the actual search volume on this is not that great. So it's only 600 searches a month. So it's not exactly booming. Let's see, volume. Let's see, medium, because I don't want to see any of these low ones. So what's this? High phenolic olive oil. So what is that? A type of extra virgin oil that's particularly rich in it's anti-inflammatory. Okay. So let's have a look on Amazon and let's see how this is looking. Let's see. There might be some high fentanyl. I can't even say it. Fentanyl. High phenolic. So you click on this, and we're going to see, is it starting to grow? Looks like it's kind of flat. So it doesn't really look like there's tons of demand. Very high phenolic Usda organic Greek olive oil. This is cool. Look at that. Very cool branding, isn't it? That. Now that there's a video that I'm going to do soon on an olive oil brand. Again, this is not something that you would ever think of selling, but if you could find a very good manufacturer for very good olive oil and you made a great brand out of it, tell me the reason why you couldn't launch it. There isn't one. So let's have a look. Pink glow pineapple, functional mushrooms, okara flower. Let's have a look at this. This is another one because we saw that organic flower before, right? So let's have a look. Now, what I like about these is they're not going insane, right? They're not like booming. It's not like a fidget spinner. It's not like these mushroom type products. That you see like mushroom supplements and stuff. Like if we look at mushroom supplements, mushroom coffee is a good one. Mushroom coffee has just gone insane. So mushroom coffee, look, 200,000 searches, but look, it's just gone woof. So imagine if you launched a mushroom coffee brand down here, you would just be killing it. So let's have a look at this one. Okara flower. This is an interesting. So this is kind of like a keto, I guess, like a low carb flour, which is kind of interesting. I mean, look at this. So $16.99. Again, right, when you're looking at stuff, if I'm seeing the price range at like 16 to 20 bucks, I know that I've probably got to launch it. I've got to find and I've got to source it for maybe $3-4 at the most. But this is probably a very, very simple product. Lupin flour. What's weird is there's not actually much search volume for this. So started to get a bit lively there. But what is lupin flour? Okay, and again, not really taking off. Let's have a look at this one. Lupin flour. So I mean, this is, there's not a huge amount of demand for it, but this is such a different product that this branding is not very good. And how much are they doing? They're doing. Let me click on this again. They're doing $11,000 a month, right? So if you're watching this and you've got a small budget and you want to sell a product that's a subscription-based product, something like this could be interesting for you, right? Because none of these guys are doing stupid amounts of money. They're doing $6,000 a month. These guys are doing 11,000. But this is probably a super, super simple product. You can probably find a manufacturer for a product like this super easily. And look, they're doing 12,000 a month, $18.99. How big is it? It's £2. I can't imagine this would cost very much to find. Like, you can probably get this really cheap. You can put it in a nice bag and brand it up, like these guys have done. To be fair, maybe promote it on TikTok. It's low carb, whatever. And this could be a nice little product for you. Not doing crazy amounts of money, but it wouldn't cost that much for you to source. I'm going to actually put up the volume a little bit. I'm going to put it up to that because I think we're finding stuff that's quite small. Not necessarily a bad thing. Adaptogen drink. They're super, super. Mason jar vacuum sealer. Okay. Freeze dried candy. This is another one that's gone crazy. Wagyu beef tallow going crazy. Freeze dried Skittles. You see all of these trends and all these types of products, right? Clear whey protein. Burger Smasher. Now this is one that's gone crazy because of TikTok. All of this stuff is going crazy because of short form content, right? Because people are seeing these products on TikTok, and it's never been easier to launch stuff. Mushroom chocolate. That's another interesting one. This Four Sigmatic is a huge brand. It's worth looking at what they're doing. I'm going to look in the UK and I want to see, does anybody search mushroom chocolate in the UK? Let's have a look. See, what you'll find is a lot of the time this stuff will be, and then I'm going to search eczema. How do you spell X? X-E-E-C. I'm terrible at E. Eczema cream. But I'm going to put in eczema honey. Is anybody searching that? Eczema honey cream. So what I like to do is I like to look at stuff in the UK market that I've seen is popular in the US market. So let's have a look. So Manuka honey, Eczema cream. Wonder what the best. So E45. Huh. So I wonder. Yeah. I wonder if you could take if you could take what we saw in the US market with this honey type stuff, and then you could maybe launch that in the UK. I don't know. But yeah, that was it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below if you've got any questions. And we're bringing out a bunch of new videos soon, and I did one recently on how to make you money with Amazon FBA. So go and watch it here. See you in the next one.